Now, the sermon of today is a birthright. Why this? So, we are all alive. That means we were born. It's evident. And we were born with a purpose, right? This purpose is out there. I'll go to the specific example that God had put in the Bible to show us this. But before that, I want to delve into this reality first. In heaven, there was a person who, let me speculate, just based on the description, he was the most, it looked like he was the firstborn baby of heaven, Lucifer, because he was this is the elder son, right? In my understanding, don't quote me for that, it's just my speculation. But it seems so, because he was the biggest. Only Jesus his father was above him, because Jesus made him, and made him so big than everybody else. So he had a birthright to be this most important creation of God, right? Which he distorted it for the reasons that we probably will take eternity to understand. He distorted it. He despised his birthright. He felt that that was not enough, because that birthright came with one thing, right? Yes, you have all this glory, all this light. You walk on the fire of God, but to serve others. All this power I gave you is not for your own use. It's to use to bless others. But this being decided to say, no, this is all for me. This is my glory. It's not my garment light. That's the question he asked himself, according to Ellen G. White. Why do I have to worship somebody? No, they should worship me because I'm better than all these angels, little angels here. They should worship me, right? And he missed the point. When you have a privilege, that's not for you. You're just the channel of that blessing. And that is the life in heaven. In heaven, everybody, and Ellen G. White also says in Step to Christ, the joy of heaven consists on the self-serving spirit. That's what brings the bliss in heaven. And if you don't have that ability of self-sacrifice and knowing, I'm a mathematician, I'm a doctor in mathematics, and I'm not going to use those numbers for myself. That number I'm going to use to bless other people, right? That is what really makes heaven. That is, in essence, what the whole Bible is trying to talk about. And that's what Jesus did. He said, hey, even though I'm God, I'm serving you, Paul. I'm serving everybody else. So as soon as we understand that chain of behavior, we have the prerequisite to make it to heaven. Satan said, no, this is wrong. I don't need to serve anybody. You have to serve me. That's why he hated the law, because the law is about serving the other. The greater you are in the chain of command, the more your service. That's why Jesus said, if you want to be the first, be the last. If you want to be the boss, be the servant. The more you read the Bible, you'll see the way he applied the rules in the Bible, the laws in the Bible, is contrary to the man today. Like, we all want to be the first. We all want to be, number one and stuff like that. So that's a parallel reality that is unfortunately embedded on us and influences our life. Now, unfortunately, Satan sinned. He believed that serving others is a humiliation. It's debasing. It's lowering my sense of being. Why would I serve others? I'm Dr. Manzanza. What do you think? You see what I'm saying? No, you gotta call me this because I want to feel superior. And that's Satan's spirit, right? And that led to his fall. When he fell, God said, okay, you want to serve yourself? Fine. He left the presence of God, because if you are in the presence of God, you will have to be a servant to him. But if you don't want to serve God, you first have to do is to leave God. Okay? He left the presence of God, and then he tried to become his own God. But the problem is, right, only God is the source of peace. Only God is the source of life. Only God is the absolute goodness. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot have absolute, you can't even forge goodness away from him. You can't say, I love my wife if you're not with God. That's not love. Because love, by definition, is God. Because you say, God is love. When you use that verb like that, you're defining. Isn't it, my sister? Yeah, God is. It's not like God can be or God is made of love. No, no, no. God is. He doesn't have love. He is love. You see the difference? You're not, my brother. I am not. We are not. We are not made essentially with love. We have to be close to that if you want to reflect that spirit. And then when you have that, then you're going to have the follow-up, the fruit of the Spirit. Love, kindness, peace, and suffering, long-suffering, and patience, and stuff like that. Outside of God, you can't have that. So what happened with Satan? He started experiencing disappointment, problems, stress, you call it, sadness, and all these things, because this is the things you get outside of God. Human beings, what they try to do, they try to supplement that by trying to get other things to create instant moment of joy. Because he lost that, he really regretted so badly, and he wanted to go back and enjoy those good moments, but with the heart that he had, self-serving heart in heaven. It wouldn't work. It would be a huge disaster. So now he's here. He knows he's lost. Here's the thing. The only one who knows for sure he's already lost it is the devil. We are in a better position. We have this advantage that God may put us in this earth, and he still gave us what they call the right, the birthright, the ability to still enjoy what he lost. But the game of the enemy is to come here and make you say, and make you for faith that bring blessing in exchange of a momentary thing. Okay? Now, the scripture is said that my brother Paul read is 25, 34. Then Jacob gave Esau. This is one of the examples. There's so many examples in the Bible, but this probably would help us illustrate the differences. Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus, and this explanation explained, the last one, thus Esau despised his birthright. So, we are born to serve each other. That's the right. That is what love is. We are born to submit and serve and look for each other's best interest. Amen. That's the birthright. So when you are born as the firstborn, in my very faint understanding, I have a little sister, so I know the difference. You have advantage because you know more, and not only do you have advantage of knowledge, you're probably going to be a little stronger than them, right? So you would automatically have to protect your brothers, right, from going astray, from falling, for whatever can happen. So you always overlook them. And they will always come to you for some kind of advice if they can't reach the parents. You are the immediate person right there. Therefore, the parents oftentimes that have multiple kids, they would see that firstborn, and if the family is healthy, functional family, they will bestow him the blessing with the idea that, okay, I'm going to leave all this to you so that you can guide your little ones. Unfortunately, Satan managed to distort that, this principle in it and say, okay, yeah, you can earn all these, inherited all these, but you don't need to give it to your little sister to, redistribute it. It's for you, right? And you can enjoy it all at the moment. Now, in the Bible, in this particular story, that birthright was also associated with the person carrying the lineage of the Messiah, the Savior. Basically, if you are the firstborn, you are basically the priest of the house. When the father passes away, at that moment, when the father is alive, he's the priest of the house. But once his functions decline, like Esau would realize, my mental capacity are declined, I'm no more that strong. My older son, come here, now you take the place as a father. of the house. But then we know the problem. Satan was able to distract Esau. For the sake of time, the story is actually big. I would want to read all around, but I think all of us have a little idea of it, but I'll just quickly going over the places. So we know Esau is the second son of Abraham. Abraham was a man of God, had his own issues, but he managed to fulfill God's requirement at the end. And Abraham begot Ishmael, and Ishmael was the older brother. He got a problem. He had to go, and then Esau came to the picture. Esau was the one who got all the blessings from Abraham by God's ordinance. And Esau is a very strange figure because his life means a lot of, can be represented in a lot of senses. But let's just look at this. Am I saying Esau? Isaac. Sorry about it. I'm like, well, it's Isaac. That's the one I'm talking about. Esau's, yeah, anyway. Thank you, my brother. So Isaac, his marriage, he was so obedient in all his early life that he fulfilled that, that role of a child that would make his father proud. He was a teenager. His father was old when he grabbed him in the hand. I'm going to kill you. And you're like, okay, father, I trust you. He could just easily say, you're an old man, and push him. Abraham what would he do? Nothing. But he was like, I trust your judgment. Not only that, the father said, you're 40 years old, you have no wife, I'll find a wife for you. He could have said, Dad, you're too old to find a wife for me. I'll find somebody for myself. No, he'd be like, no, can you imagine wait for 40 years and you are very rich, there's a lot of women in your house, and you have one of the richest person, and still wait there, and your daddy found you a wife. And he married Rebecca. Rebecca is also another story. It's one of the few women in the Bible, one of the few, there's many, who actually, even though coming from outside, inserted and actually fulfilled the law of God. So what happened is between Abraham and Sarah, most of the time Abraham committed a sin is because Sarah didn't tell him something. When God said you're going to have a kid, Sarah said, you believe that? You're too old. You better go get that concubine right there. And then almost in many situations, he's like, oh yeah, Sarah told me that, and he would do that in contrary with what God said. It was only at the end he successfully obeyed God when he decided to conceal from Sarah what he was going to do from God, because he knew Sarah. It's actually in the Bible. You can go there and read. He knew if I would tell Sarah, I'm going to kill our son, of course, Sarah would say, you're not doing that for no reason. You're an old man here, and I can put up a fight against you. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just simple logic. So he said, my wife have hindered a lot of my. In fact, Sarah laughed when Jesus said, your wife is. Can you imagine what he's laughing in front of Jesus and basically disbelieving? What is this man talking? I'm old. And Jesus had to scold him. But still, Jesus allowed her to have a wife. Anyway, that's not the sermon today. We can talk about it in another day. But then comes Rebecca. Rebecca comes in. Just look at the story, and I'm trying to quickly summarize this thing. She was in the field, and a stranger just approached, and he fed a stranger. Lonely woman in the desert, you find a stranger coming full of things. I'm like, no, I'm running away to my parents. No, she fed them, right? That's selfless spirit on that woman. I don't know what were the circumstances. And as soon as the man said, she quickly understood that that's the Spirit of God. And she decided to leave. Look at this. She left her parents, her support group, her brothers and sisters, like, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going. And you know what that meant at that time? There was no WhatsApp or Facebook, by the way. Once you say, I'm leaving my parents, it's a farewell. It's like, I won't see you again until God come back. That's what, that's what it means. Then Rebecca have sent the son back, but you know how much it took, right? It's a long journey. She have not seen them. That's how it used to be. There was no car, by the way. So We see it differently, but that time is like when you say goodbye, it's a goodbye. You know what it takes to say goodbye, to find, as a man, a woman that you've never seen, and they just say there's a woman in somewhere else that you're going to marry, and you don't even know, and I'm leaving my mom, my dad, my comfort, my food, and everything, because a man just came and told me, you have to have a lot of faith to do that. You know, I thank God I was born in this time, because at that time I would be very skeptical. I don't even know him. But not only that, when they arrived into the place, she saw the man in the field. She quickly had the discernment and asked the servant of Abraham, who's that man coming in? And she quickly understood, somehow that woman had a real, and you will see how far it goes. She understood, that's my man. And of course, Esau was there and only married because his mama passed away and he was started feeling lonely. Okay? And then she brought her back basically to replace Sarah's in his heart. That's just my understanding. Actually happened that with men a lot, by the way. We're trying to replace our mothers when we look for a woman. Hey, guys, don't get me, don't get me. I know I spoke it, our little secret. You now know, my sister. All right, now, so they get married. And here is the thing. There's a whole chapter 24, very similar to what happened to Abraham. First, Esau also lied. Am I saying Esau again? Isaac. Oh, it's two names. They sound the same in my brain. Isaac also lied like Abraham did in Egypt. Oh, no, he's not my wife. It's my sister. But this time, this king was actually way better than Pharaoh. He was like, oh, why are you lying to us? I saw you guys hugging each other like lovers. How can, you know what I'm saying? No, don't do that to us. You see? But he lied. He did exactly so many things like his father did. So, you know, that's why as a parent, we got to be careful with what we do, because some evil can go through other generations. But not only that, the other parallel there is that in the chapter 24 in Genesis, you will see that Rebekah, like Sarah, could not be pregnant. Esau was already 40 years old. Probably by that time he started praying for God. He was like 50, 60. Oh, God, this story is playing again. You see, Satan is, God said, my parents already went through it again. And then luckily this time he didn't have to reach 100 years old for that. The wife got pregnant. And there was normal kickings. I mean, there was not much science at that time. But imagine if one baby in the womb, they already start playing boxing with your placenta. Imagine two of them. Boom, 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 boom. Of course, in that lack of understanding, they'll be like, they are fighting. No, they're a baby. They don't. So the problem is the Bible sometimes will put entity to, like, will put agency, adult agency to babies. But they're just trying to describe. That's the moment when prophecy is mingled with some reality. Those babies had no clue. They're baby. You know, we now know how baby develops. They were just kicking normally. And she felt, and by the way, she probably didn't know, her biggest worry is like she probably thought she only had one kid. You know how you know? There was no ultrasound. We now know it easily because you guys, first 2 weeks you go, I don't know how many weeks, I forgot actually, maybe 10 or 5 weeks, you already can tell. But they would have to wait 9 months. And in 9 months, you have this big belly expecting, which is normal. Normal is one baby. And you're like, boom, 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 boom. Why is all these punches, right? And then God had to tell them, no, it's a twin, by the way. That's why the punches, the movement is a little more than the usual. Oh, you know, and then she figured out, but then God mingled that same situation of revealing not only the gender, but also the numbers of baby that she was going to have. Because trust me, that 9 months of pregnancy, any parents who go through that, you know that's a lot of anxiety. You're trying to know, especially if you've been trying to have kids for years and you did not, and then suddenly you're pregnant. Every day, every hour count. We all know that. Every single moment and every movement, even if it's this little, for you is this big. Are they going to survive? Is there something wrong? You see what I'm saying? So mentally, she probably have amplified a lot of things. But then God took the opportunity to say, okay, I'll reveal you the gender and the number of baby, and I'll tell you they are healthy. But also, I'm going to give you a little glimpse of the future. They're not going to get along. And this is hard for a mother who's trying to have baby, and you're like, my kids are not going to get along. But anyway, fast forward, the kids are born. Okay? And there it is, first-time parents. Isaac, in my mind, probably already 60 years old. And Rebecca probably on her 40s or 50, I don't know. I'm just making this up. But they probably were pretty much over there based on Isaac's age. At least Isaac was old. And he's like, man, I have kids of my own. This one look like me. And as a man, you take pride. And you see the one who's more like acting manly. Yeah, that's my number one son. You see the problem where it starts now? Yeah, you start picking special favors, privileges. Now, that also tells a lot about a problem. But Rebecca, on the other hand, did not see it that way. Yes, you see, if you see the reasons, where's my paper? Sorry. I have it in my memory anyway. You can look the story in the Bible if you want to fact check what I'm saying. You see, what happened is, when the kids were born, Rebecca did not forget God's ordinance. There's actually a very clear part in the Bible. Don't know where I put my paper, by the way. There's a very clear part of the Bible that says Rebecca knew the promises of God. She learned. She's an outsider who came into the Abrahamic house, learned the promises that God did to his father-in-law, and she took it very seriously. She took that faith seriously. Isaac, who was born in the house, did not take it very seriously. Okay? Because, look at those kids. Esau, in the Bible, clearly says he was a hunter. He was a man of action. A patriarch and prophet even gives a better view of what Esau was. He was a hunter, man of action, adrenaline, and he was a womanizer. You know that's not what Abraham was. That's not what even his father Isaac was. You know, Isaac waited 40 years just to marry his mother. So he married, and that's the other problem is who he married was even worse. It's not just womanizer within the house of his father who practiced the same faith. No, he went to get the pagan woman that we know in the Bible. He hurt the feelings of Esau and Rebecca so bad. I think that's what Rebecca, because Rebecca had a better spiritual discernment of the responsibility around that, right? Isaac at that point have lost sight of it. He was, I'm too rich and I have two young boys and one of them is a fighter, you know. What a father would not like it? My son go out and kick out everybody. Yeah, he's gonna get even the lion, he's gonna kill it. He's strong, look at Esau, right? Yeah. And also another thing that I want you to have an idea. Have you ever tried to hunt? So today we have what they call porch hunter, right? Before, where I'm coming from, people actually hunt for food. They hunt because really there's a need. They need to, well, I don't know now. I'm saying when I was growing up with my grandparents. My grandfather was a hunter as well. But he would go hunt because we need food. But today, there's a different group of hunters. I don't know what those hunters who just trophy kind of hunters. They just go kill animals for joy. You know, I don't know if you ever try to kill an animal. It's one of the saddest things that you have to do, even if you're going to do it for subsistence. It's not funny. The fight that the animal give back is really not funny at all. Like, sometimes you would even, if you're the one who did it, who killed the animal, you're probably not going to eat it. You know, it's easy. We only see the meat already in our table. You don't see what goes through. To kill, especially a big one, oh man, the fight is going to give you is no way. They're tenacious for life. So if that's already one thing, now doing it for sport is another level of evil. And that's what Esau was doing. Now, Jacob, on the other hand, also was taking care of animals. However, Those animals, he was not trying to kill them. He was trying to raise them. Of course, they would use one or two, whatever, how many, for food. But his goal was taking care of animals. You can see the two characters right there. One is taking care of the flock of God. I would say creation of God. One find joy in destroying it. That's why they say Esau was evil one. And in that process, Isaac had a chance to see that character developing, but he still was proudful and boastful of that, what's going on. Not only that, in the scripture reading we say, he despised the birthright. This birthright came with two things. Number one was the spiritual aspect of that, and the second one was the material. Now here's the thing. Isaac was one of the richest. If you read it, he probably was the richest man there. He inherited, not only the one that he inherited, he also multiplied. All nations around him was jealous. Kings would come and visit him. Can you imagine? You're just so rich that the president would come to your house and spend the night with you. Yeah, that's what happened. They were like 2 kings, 3 kings, like, I know you're very rich and God is with you. We just came to spend the night and make sure we never have a fight because you're too powerful, Jacob. No, not Jacob. Isaac, you're too powerful. You must have a lot of money, and that time's money, for the presidents today, G7, come to your house, Brother Paul. Can you imagine? So, Esau knew what he was getting. But you can already say that he already got these women. Imagine when he gets hold on the money. He could do whatever he wants. That's what he was looking at. However, he did not look at the future. Does that make sense? So when he came from the hunt, from his adrenaline rushing stuff, he came home, he was hungry. He sat with his brother and he said, give me what you're cooking. Here's the thing. They had a lot of servants. His father was just so rich. That house would be like you have like at least 10 maids to cook for you. He didn't have no business to go talk to his brother for food. He could, and in fact, Ellen G. White also said that in Story of Redemption. He could just simply go to the kitchen. He would be served. That gives us a highlight that this brother had an issue with his brother already. He wanted what his brother had. Knowing that he already is going to be the one inheriting it, but he still was bothered. Something was that his brother had was bothering him. Okay? So he went there, what you cooking? Give me what you have. Who actually wanted it? It was Esau. But then Isaac at the other head, he was not the muscular, but he was the brain. He knew and he learned from the mother about God's plan. And he really wanted to do God's plan. He feared God. And here comes the situation we all go through. And he started to become impatient. Because he saw what we see, the wicked prospering. And him there, God, are you serious? Is this the one who's going to inherit all these rights? He had a misunderstanding, and I will also talk about it. Is this the one, God, he's just going to despise him. Look at him. He doesn't even respect our parents by now. He's already married with everybody from outside of our faith. He's already corrupting everything. God, I think you need a little help, by the way. I don't think you being wise. Sorry, maybe let me be reverent. But he assumed that God needed a little help. So he was like, okay, maybe let me start with this. Esau, you want my food? Sell me your birthright. And Esau was like, oh yeah, this is the thing I hate the most. Just take it, give me what you got. He exchanges his eternal blessing for the momentary, instant gratification of appetite. That sounds familiar to us. Now, quick digression. Satan, I started with him. Now he knows his condition. He knows he does not going to have a shot again to eternal life. He has not that shot anymore. He has no more shot for the fruit of life. His chances are gone. If he's know for sure, he's going to be dead forever. But we have a hope. We have this hope in Jesus that even if we die, we know he's going to resurrect us for what he neglected. But he doesn't like that because he's like, no, I'm jealous of you, Paul. Mm-mm. You know what? But I'm not going to come straight to you and tell you that because I know what you're about to lose. But you know what? I'll tell you, Paul, you don't need to wait and you don't need to struggle in this planet. You can gratify yourself with whatever it is. Just pluck the fruit and eat. Oh, by the way, you don't need to struggle. Why are you wasting your time taking care of your family? Go out and work forever. Don't even come home. Come home late. Whatever you can do. You know what I'm saying? And get all the earth, all the blessing you can get in this planet. You have 30 or 50 more years to live, and these 50 years, you can have all these blessings. But can you imagine that? I go back to statistical significance. 50 years with eternity. You see what is exchange? He knows you got that shot. I got that shot. He knows he doesn't have it. So he's like, we're going to exchange, give me your chance or your opportunity of have eternal life, and I'll give you nothing. I'll give you this 50 years, maybe I may bless you, but you will see that this will look like nothing when you contemplate eternity. He's always like, okay, I'm eating. He ate, fine. But the point is, he went along for years. It's like, never even say, come back, hey, brother, you tricked me. I was very hungry. I only said that because I was hungry. No, he literally meant it. Like, what is this birthright? I despise this. Take it if you want. But what he really meant is like, you take God's requirements, but don't take the money, Jacob. Fast forward. It happened that, and then later on, the father's mental health was declining, started having memory lapses and stuff. He knew, like, okay, I'm going to go down soon. Isaac, prepare yourself. And then Rebecca also, even though he's a Christian, did exactly what the son did in the beginning. God also needs a little help. This man is doing. But let me stop to Isaac again. Look how, for all this here, he failed his parental role. He failed to discern God's requirement, right? He still was going to bestow that blessing to a man who clearly is despising God's requirement, right? He failed to act, so the wife had to step in to try to correct what he was going to do wrong. But at the end of the day, that blessing was a theoretical thing. It was not really, there was no special magic in his word that he would say and then people would get blessed. Some parents today have been using that as a way that, God have given us special power that in our deathbed, if I say it, your life is going to be. Basically, we have the ability to determine destiny. That's not the case, okay? That is basically based on how they were developing their character. And you could see after life, even when Jacob ran away, when things happened, fast forward, he went away, out of his diligent, godly-fearing work, what happened to him? He got blessed materially. Although he was only looking for spiritual blessing, you saw when he fought the angel, he's like, not letting you go until you're blessing me. That was what he was looking for. But a spiritual life, I always tell that to my wife, even if you observe any house that upholds God's principle, they always do well. But that do well may not be according to the standards of the world, by the way. They always do well in a sense there's peace inside. Members of the home, they will get along. Of course, there's going to be some disagreement, but they will not try to kill each other. Now here we come, fast forward, Isaac will discover that his brother have gone and took the birthright. But the point is, his father did not just say spiritual blessing, but he also gave him the material. He told that you're getting all the money. Basically, is what you call here in America. When you give inheritance, what's the document? The will. Right. Today is the same thing. If I make my will and I was supposed to give to Brother Paul, but I accidentally give it to you, it's already written. You already have the legal document. That time they didn't have legal document that much, but their words, they meant it. If you already say something, you can't take it back. So you know what I'm saying? So now intentionally wanted to give you my money, Brother Paul, but I gave it to sister. Now sister has the legal basis to go and claim all the money. Of course, that's what happened. Then Esau knew, okay, and there's a part he actually say he was mad. Oh, here's my paper. I was looking for it. Let's just go quickly to the verse 27, verse 36, 27, 36. And I was actually here and looking for my paper. Let's just look quickly what was in Esau's mind. Let's say, let me start with 35. Isaac told Esau, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with great exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. And the father responded, thy brother came with subtlety and had taken thy blessing. He forged the wheel, and it's already in the judge's hands. It's too late. It's going to take a lot of fight to undo it. I already said it. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? I'm reading King James Version, by the way. For he had supplanted me these 2 times. Look at the lie. Look at what he said. He took away my birthright. No, he did not took away. He did not forcibly took the birthright. No, when he said took away, that means he was forced to be given. No, they had an agreement. He voluntarily gave the birthright to his little brother. The second thing is say, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. You see, the blessing and birthright are 2 different things here. The birthright was the spiritual aspect, and the blessing was the money. So he took the birthright, the spiritual, now he took the money with him too. I'm going to kill him. And behold, and he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord. Look at the point. And all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and said, my life is over. You see, we only have one shot in this life for the blessings that God has given us. Unfortunately, there's only one. You miss it, it's going to happen. They'll be like, but aren't you God? Can't you just undo this and redo some, bring us back to earth, rewind time, and I'll do it all right. No, we only have one shot. Take a hold of your privileges, as a child of God. And if you're a child of God, you have the birthright to make it to heaven. Okay? Now, this is going to take a little long, but I want you to see what's going on here. But I'll conclude very, very short. We're coming to an end anyway. And then, after this dwelling, Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. He gave him some little blessing. And by thy word shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. 42, let me read the 46, just to jump. And Rebekah, remember when Rebekah did that, helping his brother, she also said, whatever happened, I take it all, because his son was like, Mom, God's not going to like it. It's like, don't worry, I'm helping God, and I assume all the problem. And look at the 46, what it say. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life be to me? After that blessing, you see, she'll be like, they now address the issue. With this blessing, wrong wife is what's going to happen, what happened during the flood. Bad combination. As a caring mother, she still was looking at the spiritual aspect. Jacob didn't even ask that. Not Jacob. Isaac. Of course, the parent, Jacob, called Isaac and say, okay, don't marry, don't do like your brother say, go somewhere else to get married. But look at this. Chapter 28, verse 6, it says like this. And when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Look at this. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and was going to do so. And Esau, seeing the daughters of Canaan, pleased not Isaac his father, remember, because he was already married with multiple wives. Then went Esau unto Ishmael and took unto the wives which he had made, what their names here, Malaham, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nabal, to be his wife. That's another thing. When he said to his father, when he was in front of his father, he was unable to acknowledge his mistake. He made what we call projection. He projected all that happened to blame Isaac. He could never take accountability of his action. Number one things of most of us. We don't want to spend time and reflect what could we have done wrong, right? We just want to see, yeah, my husband did that. He's the devil. He's him. Paul is him. Don't worry, my sister, I'm not getting you. You know, just one example, right? And vice versa. Oh, he's my wife and blah, blah, blah. And we fail to self-reflect. Okay. And then the thing that caught my attention the most is Jacob started planning to kill his brother. Okay. Esau. Oh, thank you. Whew. You see those names? My brain with names is a huge issue. Esau started planning to kill his brother. Esau then had to flee for his life. But you know what caught my attention? How long was Esau gone? No. Jacob gone. Let's see. How long do you think? How long was he in Laban's house? 14 years. That's the time he worked for the wives. Plus 7 years, right? Plus, because remember, he got tricked many times, right? He was at least 20 years gone. Here's the thing. Of course, during that 20 years, his mother died. Like I said, when you say goodbye at that time, it's goodbye. Everybody else passed away. But Esau still wanted to kill his brother after 20 years. This actually blows my mind. You hate someone so much that you'll be hating that person for 20 years, even though you don't see him. You still hold that hate for 20 years. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. It takes a lot for you to, let's say you hurt me, I'm mad at you today, I may go probably, I'm not, maybe I can go 20 years as well, but let's just say, usually 1 year, and if I don't see you for that long, maybe I'll just forget you. Maybe reignite that if you come back. This brother, all those 20, I would say that was a miserable 20 years for Esau. Because you're just waiting 20 years to kill someone, but not only that you want to kill him, in fact, he took nothing from you. Because the blessing, so-called blessing, I'm not downplaying that, the blessing of the inheritance that the father had, he took nothing. He ran away with just one cloth. In fact, when he went on the way, he walked for, I think they say 120 days. He walked very long distance. And he had to sleep on the stone. That man took nothing with him. So Esau actually, it's Esau, right? Esau, yes. Esau actually had what he wanted. All the money of the father that he should share with the brother, he still took it. But even though Even though I already have what I wanted, I still want to kill this dude. Now you see the problem was not the blessing. That brother was already hating his brother for quite a long ago. Because let me say, you take my car away. I love my car too much. I'm mad at you because you took my car away. I have a reason to hate you. Now, you act like you're going to take my car away, but you don't take. In fact, instead of taking my car away, you even leave your car behind. Now you're gone. And I'm still here thinking, oh, I hate brother. As soon as I see brother Paul, oh, Lord knows he's dead, man. For my car. And then people, your wife be like, but what car? You have your car plus his car already. What else could he done? He left with nothing, empty-handed. Yeah, but I still want to kill him. Do you see the problem there? Amen. The problem was not the blessings. The problem was the character of Jacob. Yes, he was a liar. Yeah. What did I say? Oh my goodness. Yeah, just hold on with me there. Like, be patient with me there. I keep changing names. Yeah, the problem was the character of his little brother. You know what that is similar? Can you recall a story in the Bible that an older brother wanted to kill his little brother so bad? This one actually successfully did it. Cain and Abel. Go on through most of the Bible story, you'll see all the brothers trying to kill their little brother. I'm sorry to say that. I mean, look well your family dynamic. You probably will find, maybe not to the extent, but you may find this kind of strifes.
Except David.
David.
Even among the children of David.
Yep. Yep. And the other thing that I found it, and we are concluding the story, usually because the elder brother has, and in a pathologic family dynamic, when the parents give a lot more, play favoritism and favor one, usually the favor one end up being an evil one and entitled. And he will play, and he will really try to ruin the other one. Like, just watch well what's going on. That's always going on. But also, like I said, the only reason why Esau did not kill Jacob, do you know why? What happened for him not to kill? There was a miraculous intervention. God miraculously have to show up to him and say, you do that, you're a dead man walking. Don't even dare. Can you imagine? And also another thing I want you to think is, you want to kill your brother so bad that you took 400 men. You really want him dead. The other thing also I want us to think about it. Don't you think Jacob could put up a fight against his brother? Let's just think about it. First of all, in a fight, the smartest one is always the one who wins. We have clear evidence here that Jacob was always outsmarting his brother. His brother was all muscles, no brain. Don't fight somebody who is very smart, even if it's the smallest one. I see my nephew and my niece one day, they had a fight. My niece is like 5 years younger, but she's so cunning and smart. He easily defeated his brother, like very easily. I was like laughing, I was like, because she tricked him. You know, and he came with all this anger and was easily defeated. He felt himself defeated. He started laughing. He's like, he couldn't believe he was defeated. I will never forget that fight. I was there watching and just enjoying it, you know, because, and he also had to enjoy it because, like, I don't know how she was able to use all this tactic and beat me up. And she's like, I will never mess up with you anymore. You already saw that Jacob played with his brain very easily. So Jacob, he knew his weak point. If Jacob was really like his brother, he would not run away. No, he's like, I know he got the muscles, he got the actions, but I make the calculations. It's very simple. I'll just make 2, 3 steps. He'll be dead before. So Jacob could put up a fight. Why didn't he put up a fight? Why did he run away? We're analyzing from human perspective. In fact, Esau was not that different from him. They were just hours, maybe minutes away. So it's not like Esau was 10 years old, was bigger than. No, they were in the same path. So Jacob could put up a fight and probably even win easily. But the point was this. Jacob was somebody whose Satan assaulted him well with guilt. Let me give you one example. I don't know if you've ever seen a thief. You know, I'm somebody one day told me, a thief, when he's about to steal from you, is the strongest man you can see, the bravest person you can see. Catch him. You could be the smallest one, you'll beat him up. You know why? Because he's have to deal with internal struggle with guilt now. He's self-defeated. He got caught. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's now trying to run away from you. That is the most thing that he wants is to be outside of your presence. So Jacob, you could see all his life, even while his brother for 20 years was trying to kill him, Jacob for 20 years was looking for forgiveness. He knew he's worthless, right? That's the difference between the men today, right? While one cherished hate for 20 years, one was self-reflecting for 20 years. And even when Jesus came to him, right there, he like, I still don't feel you have forgiven me. I won't let you go until you bless me. Basically, he was saying, it was not a material blessing. I won't let you go until you forgive me for my actions, Father. I have been a constant liar. I've been lying a lot, right? So therefore, God could see his character. This man was teachable because he was already humble. And also, not only that Jacob would not fight his brother because he feared the Lord. He would not put up trying to kill him. No. He would easily just allow. He was defeated. He knew he obtained it with means of deception. And you know what? He did not care about what he did to his father. His real problem is, what have I done to my Lord God? There's nothing more terrible when you know you've offended God. If you're really trying to get in a good term with God, once you commit sin, your thought is like, what have I done to my Lord? Let me give you one example. Joseph, when he was facing temptation, what was his word? How can I do this against who? Potiphar? No, he was not even thinking about Potiphar, because he knew the issue is not him and Potiphar, it's not the wife. He knew whatever he does now, he's rejecting God, who have so far been so good to him. And he said, how can I do this? He understood my blessing comes to the Lord, from the Lord. So Jacob understood by the mother's teaching, because Ellen G. White says in her writings that the mother engaged in is the one who did all this teaching to him. And he's like, I am in problem with, I have a problem with God. Therefore, I'll take to him in prayer. And when he faced danger, he still took it in prayer. And God then have blessed him at the end and guaranteed that he would be saved. To conclude, my brothers and sisters, this is a beautiful story. There's a lot we could extrapolate and learn. I know I went all over the place because the story is so beautiful. Because every little place you hit, you can relate with it. There's so many areas. But the point what I want to fall again with us is we can see Jacob didn't care of being the most famous man in his house and have all the money. He despised the temporal blessings. And his eyes was only into the spiritual blessings. And when he saw that he probably have messed that up, he genuinely and constantly for at least a good 20 years non-stop. You could say during that 20 years he probably have seen no progress, maybe not evidence of forgiveness from God. But he kept on there. And when even he prayed, God showed up, he felt like it's not enough. I'm not letting you go. That would bring us another, that little point there could be another sermon that because it's related to the time of trouble. But we can learn a lot from the faith of Jacob and character of Esau.